You've tried everything: low calorie, low fat, plant-based, keto, even intermittent fasting, and somehow the scale barely moves. You feel like you're doing everything right, but your energy crashes mid-afternoon, your cravings never go away, and your metabolism feels broken. The truth is, it's not your discipline that's failing you. It's the modern diet that's been engineered to keep you hungry, inflamed, and dependent on constant feeding. Every healthy meal packed with grains, seed oils, and processed carbs spikes insulin, shuts down fat burning, and turns your body into a storage unit instead of a fuel burning machine. Most people are walking around in a constant state of elevated insulin. That means your body never gets the chance to tap into its stored fat for energy. You're locked in sugar burning mode, and the result is a slow metabolism, brain fog, joint pain, and stubborn fat that refuses to budge. You've been told to eat less and move more, but that advice ignores the underlying hormonal chaos that keeps your body stuck. This is where the carnivore approach flips everything you've been taught. By cutting out carbohydrates, sugars, and inflammatory plant foods, you're not depriving your body, you're freeing it. You reset insulin sensitivity, drop inflammation, and unlock fat burning the way your body was designed to function. When you remove the noise from your diet, grains, seed oils, processed junk, you allow your metabolism to recalibrate naturally. Energy stabilizes, hunger fades, and fat loss becomes a side effect, not a struggle. What we're talking about isn't a fad or a quick fix. It's a doctor-approved, science-backed strategy to reclaim metabolic health. In this video, you'll learn exactly how the carnivore diet triggers rapid, sustainable fat loss by working with your biology, not against it. By the end, you'll understand why simplicity, not restriction, is the ultimate metabolic reset. When you remove carbohydrates from your diet, something fundamental happens inside your body, a complete shift in the way you generate energy. Most people today are locked in glucose dependence. Every few hours, they need a snack, a hit of sugar or a carb-heavy meal to keep their energy stable. That's not how the human body was designed to operate. The constant stream of carbohydrates keeps insulin elevated, which blocks access to your fat stores. As long as insulin is high, fat burning is off the table. You're essentially stuck in storage mode no matter how hard you train or how little you eat. When you eliminate carbs, you remove the signal that tells your body to keep storing energy. Insulin levels begin to drop, and that's the first key to unlocking fat loss. Low insulin isn't just about blood sugar control. It's the master switch for metabolism. Once insulin drops, your body can finally start breaking down stored fat into fatty acids for fuel. Think of it like opening the gates to your energy reserves that have been locked away for years. The process doesn't stop there. As glycogen, the stored form of carbohydrate in your liver and muscles, gets depleted, your body needs an alternative source of energy. That's when it turns to fat. The liver begins converting fatty acids into ketones, a clean, efficient fuel that powers both body and brain. This metabolic transition, known as ketosis, is one of the most profound physiological shifts you can experience. Instead of depending on constant refueling, your energy becomes steady and self-sustaining. No crashes, no cravings, just consistent mental clarity and endurance. During this transition, the body becomes metabolically flexible. That means it can seamlessly switch between using fat and ketones for energy depending on demand. This flexibility is what separates those who burn fat effortlessly from those who can't go a few hours without a meal. In a carb-fed state, your metabolism is reactive and unstable. In a fat-adapted state, it's calm, efficient, and resilient. As insulin sensitivity improves, your cells respond better to nutrients. Fatty acids move in and out of storage more easily, and inflammation, often fueled by high blood sugar and plant-based antinutrients, begins to subside. Mitochondria, the power plants of your cells, operate more efficiently when fueled by fat. That's why people often report not just fat loss, but sharper cognition, deeper sleep, and reduced joint pain after transitioning to a carnivore or ketogenic diet. This metabolic reset doesn't happen overnight. For the first few days, the body is still searching for glucose, and energy may dip slightly, but as enzymes upregulate and mitochondria adapt to burning fat, the switch becomes permanent. The body learns that stored fat is a reliable, abundant source of fuel, and that food intake no longer dictates energy levels. That's real freedom when your body isn't begging for food every few hours just to function. Cutting carbohydrates also changes hormonal balance beyond insulin. Ghrelin, the hunger hormone, decreases while leptin sensitivity improves, helping you feel full with less food. Cortisol levels stabilize as blood sugar stops fluctuating wildly throughout the day. These hormonal shifts make it easier to maintain fat loss without counting calories or restricting portions. And here's the key point. Fat loss isn't just about the calories you burn. It's about what fuel source your body prioritizes. Glucose burning is temporary and unstable. Fat oxidation, once established, is continuous and efficient. When you give your body permission to operate on fat and ketones, you're tapping into an energy system that's built for endurance, not survival mode. The carnivore approach accelerates this transformation because it removes not only carbs, but also plant toxins and fiber that can interfere with digestion, nutrient absorption, and hormonal signaling. The simplicity of animal-based nutrition gives your metabolism a clean environment to operate in. No spikes, no inflammation, no confusion. The result is a steady, predictable fat-burning rhythm that feels effortless compared to the metabolic roller coaster most people live on. By flipping this metabolic switch from glucose to fat-based fuel, you're not just losing weight, you're retraining your body at a cellular level to thrive. Energy becomes stable, hunger becomes manageable, and fat loss becomes the natural byproduct of metabolic efficiency. That's the foundation of rapid yet sustainable transformation. The moment your body stops fighting itself and starts working for you. Insulin is one of the most misunderstood hormones in modern nutrition. Most people only associate it with blood sugar control, but its real influence goes much deeper. Insulin is the master regulator of energy storage and fat metabolism. When it's elevated, your body is in storage mode. When it's low, your body is in fat burning mode. That's how simple and powerful this hormone is. Unfortunately, the modern diet keeps insulin high almost all the time, trapping people in a metabolic state where burning fat is nearly impossible. Every time you eat carbohydrates, especially refined grains, sugars, or even so healthy whole foods like oats or brown rice, your blood glucose spikes. In response, your pancreas releases insulin to move that glucose out of the bloodstream and into your cells for energy or storage. The problem is with constant eating, snacking, carb-heavy meals, insulin rarely gets a break. It stays elevated from morning to night. Over time, your cells stop responding properly to insulin, a condition called insulin resistance. When that happens, your body has to produce even more insulin to get the same job done. You end up in a vicious cycle, high blood sugar, high insulin, and a metabolism locked in storage mode. When insulin is high, fat cells hold onto energy like a vault that refuses to open. Even if you eat less, your body won't tap into stored fat because insulin has already told it to prioritize glucose. That's why so many people feel hungry, tired, and frustrated on traditional diets. They're fighting against a hormonal system that's programmed to conserve, not burn. Until insulin comes down, the body simply won't let go of fat. The carnivore diet breaks the cycle by removing the root cause, carbohydrates. With no carbs to spike blood sugar, insulin levels stay low and stable. This single shift unlocks fat burning almost automatically. When insulin drops, the body switches from glucose dependency to fat oxidation. Stored triglycerides are broken down into fatty acids, and the liver converts some of those into ketones, which provide a clean, efficient source of fuel for the brain and muscles. This is the natural human state: steady energy, mental clarity, and metabolic freedom. Stable insulin also means stable blood sugar, no more crashes after meals, no afternoon fatigue, no uncontrollable cravings. When you're not constantly chasing your next sugar fix, your energy becomes consistent and hunger signals quiet down. That's one of the reasons carnivore eaters often find they can go long stretches without eating, because their bodies are finally running on an internal energy source that doesn't run out every few hours. Lowering insulin does more than improve fat loss. It restores hormonal balance throughout the body. Leptin, the hormone that signals fullness, begins to function properly. Again, ghrelin, the hunger hormone, decreases. Cortisol, the stress hormone that rises with blood sugar swings, stabilizes. These changes work together to make weight loss sustainable rather than forced. You're no longer relying on willpower to eat less. You're simply less hungry. Chronic inflammation, another byproduct of high insulin, also begins to fade. Elevated insulin promotes the storage of visceral fat, the dangerous kind that builds around organs and fuels inflammation. As insulin normalizes, this deep fat starts to shrink, improving metabolic health, insulin sensitivity, and even cardiovascular markers. Blood pressure stabilizes, triglycerides drop, and HDL, the protective cholesterol, rises. These aren't temporary effects, they're the signs of a metabolism repairing itself from the inside out. Another overlooked aspect of insulin control is its impact on energy production. High insulin suppresses lipolysis, the breakdown of fat for fuel. When insulin is low, the body has 24/7 access to its fat stores, and energy production becomes constant and reliable. That's why people on the carnivore diet report sustained focus and physical endurance. They're no longer operating on the unstable highs and lows of glucose. They're running on fat, the body's most efficient long-term fuel. The zero carb structure of the carnivore diet makes it nearly impossible to overproduce insulin. Every meal reinforces metabolic stability. Protein and fat create a minimal controlled insulin response, just enough to shuttle amino acids into muscle and maintain blood sugar without spiking it. Over time, this steady state retrains your body to stay lean, energized, and metabolically flexible. What this means in practical terms is freedom from the constant hunger and energy fluctuations that plague most dieters. With insulin under control, fat loss becomes automatic, not forced. Your body stops hoarding calories and starts using them efficiently. You're no longer at war with your metabolism. You're finally in sync with it. And that's the power of lowering insulin. It's not just about losing fat. It's about reclaiming control over your energy, hormones, and long-term health. Protein and fat are the foundation of human nutrition, two nutrients that your body not only craves but requires for survival and optimal function. Yet for decades, people have been told to fear fat and limit protein, replacing them with carbohydrates and processed plant foods that do nothing but destabilize energy, increase hunger, and promote fat storage. The result has been metabolic disaster. The truth is, when you build your diet around high-quality animal protein and natural fats, you tap into the body's most powerful tools for fat loss, muscle preservation, and stable energy. Protein is the most metabolically active macronutrient. Every time you eat it, your body burns more calories just to digest and process it, a phenomenon called the thermic effect of food. Roughly 20-30% of the calories from protein are used for digestion alone, compared to only 5-10% from carbohydrates and 0-3% from fat. That means eating protein not only fuels your body, but also boosts your metabolism automatically. More importantly, protein provides the amino acids necessary for maintaining and building lean muscle mass. Muscle isn't just for aesthetics, it's your metabolic engine. The more muscle you preserve, the higher your resting metabolic rate, and the easier it becomes to burn fat efficiently, even at rest. On the carnivore diet, protein intake is naturally optimized. You're consuming complete bioavailable amino acids that plant sources simply can't match. Your muscles stay strong, recovery improves, and your metabolism remains active even as you lose body fat. This combination of fat loss with muscle preservation is what separates the carnivore approach from calorie-restricted diets that slow metabolism and lead to rebound weight gain. Now add healthy animal fats to the mix and the metabolic magic begins. Dietary fat is not the enemy. It's the body's preferred energy source once insulin is low and metabolism is fat adapted. Fat provides sustained, long-lasting energy without spiking blood sugar or insulin. Unlike carbohydrates, which create rapid energy followed by a crash, fat keeps you steady for hours. This stable fuel source prevents hunger swings and eliminates the constant need to snack. When you eat fatty cuts of meat, eggs, or butter, You're not triggering the same reward pathways that drive food addiction. You're nourishing your body in a way that satisfies it deeply and naturally. Fat also plays a crucial hormonal role. Cholesterol, often demonized, is actually the building block for key hormones such as testosterone, estrogen, and cortisol. Without enough dietary fat, hormone production plummets, leading to fatigue, poor recovery, and mood instability. The carnivore diet restores this hormonal balance by giving the body the raw materials it needs to function optimally. As hormones stabilize, metabolism improves, and energy levels become consistent from morning to night. One of the biggest advantages of eating protein and fat together is how they control hunger. Protein activates peptide YY and GLP-1, hormones that signal fullness to the brain. Fat slows gastric emptying, meaning food stays in the stomach longer, keeping you satisfied for hours. Together, they silence cravings at the hormonal level, something no carbohydrate, heavy diet can achieve. That's why people on the carnivore diet often find themselves eating once or twice a day effortlessly without counting calories or feeling deprived. Their hunger regulation system finally works the way it's supposed to. Contrast that with the average high carb diet. Carbohydrates cause rapid spikes and drops in blood sugar, leading to fluctuating insulin levels and unstable energy. After a carb-heavy meal, blood sugar rises, insulin floods the system, and within a couple of hours, blood sugar crashes again, triggering hunger, irritability, and the familiar urge to reach for another snack. This roller coaster keeps you trapped in constant feeding mode. You're never satisfied because your energy source is unstable. The protein and fat-driven metabolism is the opposite. It's calm, steady, and efficient. Instead of chasing your next meal, your body taps into stored energy between meals. Mental clarity replaces brain fog, and endurance replaces fatigue. You stop thinking about food because your body has what it needs: steady fuel and stable hormones. This balance also supports long-term metabolic health. Adequate protein keeps muscle tissue intact during fat loss, preventing the drop in metabolism that sabotages most diets. Fat provides the dense energy your body needs without promoting inflammation or cravings. Together, they create an environment where fat loss is effortless and sustainable. By shifting your fuel source from glucose to a combination of protein and fat, you're not only transforming your body composition, you're retraining your physiology. Hunger becomes predictable, metabolism becomes efficient, and your energy feels limitless. That's the power of fueling your body the way nature intended. With the dynamic duo of protein and healthy animal fats, most people struggling with stubborn fat think it's just about calories or willpower, but in reality, it's often inflammation and hormonal chaos that keep the body from letting go of stored energy. Chronic inflammation acts like static in your body's communication system. It interferes with the very signals that regulate metabolism, hunger, and fat storage. When inflammation is high, the hormones responsible for burning fat, controlling appetite, and maintaining energy balance can't function properly. The result is fatigue, hunger, bloating, and a body that resists change no matter what you do. The modern diet is a perfect storm for this problem. Plant-based anti-nutrients like lectins, oxalates, and phytates irritate the gut lining and trigger immune responses that elevate systemic inflammation. Add in seed oils like soybean, canola, and sunflower oil, and the problem worsens. These oils are rich in unstable omega-6 fatty acids that oxidize easily, producing compounds that damage cell membranes and mitochondria. When your cells are inflamed, they can't efficiently burn fat or produce energy. It's like trying to run an engine with sand in the oil. Everything slows down and overheats. Then there's sugar, the most inflammatory substance in the modern food chain. Constant sugar intake spikes insulin, raises cortisol, and floods the body with reactive oxygen species that attack tissues and hormones alike. Chronically high insulin drives fat storage and blocks fat-burning enzymes, while cortisol, the body's main stress hormone, becomes elevated. Cortisol not only promotes abdominal fat, but also interferes with thyroid hormones, which are critical for maintaining metabolic rate. Over time, this hormonal disruption leads to a slowed metabolism, relentless cravings, poor sleep, and stubborn fat that refuses to move. Leptin, the hormone that signals satiety to your brain, is another casualty of chronic inflammation. When the body is inflamed, the brain stops responding properly to leptin signals, a condition known as leptin resistance. Even though you have plenty of energy stored in fat tissue, your brain perceives starvation and drives hunger even when you don't need more calories. This is one of the main reasons people can't stick to low-calorie diets for long. They're fighting against a hormonal feedback system that's broken by inflammation. The carnivore diet addresses this problem at its root by removing the sources of inflammation entirely. When you eliminate plant toxins, processed sugars, and industrial seed oils, you take away the triggers that keep your immune system constantly on alert. What's left are nutrient-dense animal foods, rich in bioavailable vitamins, minerals, and fats that support cellular repair and hormone production. Within days, inflammation markers like C-reactive protein begin to drop, water retention decreases, and energy starts to normalize. Animal-based nutrition provides the building blocks your hormones need to function properly. Cholesterol and saturated fats are precursors for testosterone, estrogen, and cortisol. When you eat adequate fat from sources like beef, eggs, and butter, your endocrine system has the raw materials to maintain balance. Protein from meat supplies amino acids necessary for thyroid hormone conversion and liver detoxification. As thyroid function improves, metabolism speeds up naturally without stimulants or starvation. Cortisol levels also stabilize as blood sugar stops fluctuating wildly. Without the constant spikes and crashes from carbs and sugars, your adrenal glands get a break from overproducing stress hormones. This balance leads to better sleep, improved recovery, and more stable energy throughout the day. When cortisol is balanced, fat loss, especially around the midsection, becomes much easier. Leptin sensitivity begins to return as inflammation subsides. The brain starts receiving accurate signals from your fat cells, allowing hunger and satiety to regulate themselves naturally. You no longer have to rely on willpower to stop eating. Your body simply knows when it's full. This hormonal reset is one of the biggest reasons people on the carnivore diet experience effortless fat loss, even without counting calories. Another important piece of this puzzle is mitochondrial health. Chronic inflammation damages mitochondria, the energy factories inside your cells. Animal fats, rich in saturated and monounsaturated fatty acids, help repair and stabilize these membranes, improving energy output and metabolic efficiency. When mitochondria function properly, your body burns fat more cleanly, produces fewer inflammatory byproducts, and sustains higher energy levels throughout the day. By removing inflammatory foods and nourishing your body with animal-based nutrition, you create an environment where hormones work in harmony again. Cortisol calms down, leptin becomes responsive, and thyroid hormones operate efficiently. The body transitions from a state of stress and storage to one of repair and release. Fat loss stops being a battle. It becomes a biological certainty. Inflammation is the silent enemy of fat loss, and modern food keeps it alive. The carnivore diet doesn't just reduce inflammation, it eliminates it at the source. Once that burden is lifted, your hormones can finally do their job, regulate hunger, mobilize fat, and sustain energy. That's when the real transformation begins, not just in how you look, but in how your body feels and functions every single day. Transitioning to a carnivore diet isn't about diving in recklessly. It's about resetting your metabolism through a deliberate, structured approach that supports your hormones, digestion, and energy systems from day one. The goal is not just rapid fat loss, but long-term metabolic stability and health. Think of this process as retraining your body to run on its natural fuel, fat and protein. The key is to eliminate inflammatory foods while ensuring your body adapts smoothly without the fatigue or imbalance that can occur when you change your fuel source too quickly. The first step is elimination. Start by removing all plant-based foods, grains, vegetables, fruits, legumes, nuts, and seed oils. These foods contain anti-nutrients like lectins, oxalates, and phytates irritate the gut and interfere with nutrient absorption. By cutting them out, you calm inflammation and allow your digestive system to heal. For most people, this means focusing on meat, eggs, and animal fats. Beef, lamb, pork, chicken, and seafood become your core staples. Choose fattier cuts like ribeye or salmon because the fat helps maintain energy and satiety as your body transitions away from carbohydrates. During the first week, your body will begin shifting from glucose to fat-based metabolism. This transition can cause temporary symptoms, often called the adaptation or keto flu. You might experience mild fatigue, headaches, or muscle cramps. These are not signs of something going wrong. They're signs that your body is recalibrating. The main cause is an electrolyte imbalance that happens when insulin levels drop. As insulin falls, your kidneys excrete more sodium and water, leading to shifts in electrolytes. The fix is simple: replenish them. Add extra salt to your food, preferably unrefined sea salt or Redmond real salt, and consider supplementing magnesium and potassium. Staying hydrated is crucial during this phase, as dehydration can amplify symptoms. Once electrolytes are balanced, most people notice a steady rise in energy and mental clarity. This is your metabolism stabilizing. Fat adaptation typically takes 2 to 3 weeks, but the benefits begin appearing earlier. You'll find hunger decreasing, meal frequency dropping, and focus improving. This is a sign that your body is learning to burn fat efficiently and that your insulin levels are finally under control. Next, structure your meals for balance and nutrient adequacy. Contrary to what many assume, a well-planned carnivore diet is nutritionally complete. Animal foods provide every essential amino acid, fatty acid, and nearly all vitamins and minerals in highly bioavailable forms. Aim for variety, include ruminant meats like beef and lamb as your base, add eggs for choline and biotin, and incorporate seafood a few times a week for omega-3s and iodine. Organ meats, such as liver and heart, can be added in small amounts once or twice a week to boost micronutrient density, particularly for vitamins A, B12, and iron. When it comes to meal timing, there's no need to force yourself into a strict fasting window right away. Let hunger guide you. Early on, you may eat 2 or 3 times per day as your body adjusts, and that's perfectly fine. As adaptation progresses, natural satiety kicks in, and most people effortlessly settle into 1 or 2 meals per day. Key is to eat until comfortably full. Don't restrict calories. The carnivore diet works by restoring hormonal balance, not by starving your body. Fat to protein ratio is another important consideration. Too little fat can lead to low energy or cravings, especially in the early stages. A good starting point is roughly 70% of calories from fat and 30% from protein, though this can be adjusted based on energy needs and goals. Over time, you'll develop an intuitive sense for what ratio feels best. During the adaptation phase, it's helpful to keep stress low and sleep consistent. Your body is undergoing a deep metabolic shift, and adequate rest supports this process. Exercise can be maintained but should be moderate. Focus on walking, light resistance training, or mobility work until energy levels fully stabilize. As your fat metabolism becomes efficient, performance and recovery often surpass pre-carnivore levels. The beauty of this plan is its simplicity. No counting, no measuring, no complicated recipes, just nutrient-dense foods your body recognizes. Within a few weeks, inflammation drops, digestion improves, and energy becomes steady throughout the day. You'll feel more focused, sleep deeper, and wake up without needing caffeine to function. This doctor-approved approach ensures you transition safely while giving your metabolism the clean slate it needs. By supporting electrolytes, choosing nutrient-rich animal foods, and listening to your body's feedback, you'll build a carnivore plan that not only burns fat but restores your entire metabolic system to optimal function. Once your body learns to thrive on its native fuel, fat and protein, energy, clarity, and leanness become your new baseline. Achieving rapid fat loss is just the beginning. The real challenge lies in turning those results into lasting metabolic health. Anyone can lose weight temporarily, but sustaining it requires understanding how to keep your metabolism efficient, hormones balanced, and nutrition aligned with your biology for the long haul. The carnivore approach, when practiced strategically, provides the foundation for long-term success by stabilizing insulin, eliminating inflammation, and building metabolic flexibility, once you've adapted to fat-based fuel and restored hormonal balance. The next step is learning how to maintain that new equilibrium while continuing to feel strong, lean, and energized. The key principle of long-term success is consistency, not perfection. Once your metabolism is fat adapted, your body runs efficiently on stored energy between meals. Hunger stabilizes, cravings disappear, and energy remains steady. This allows you to naturally incorporate fasting without effort or stress. Fasting becomes a metabolic tool, not a punishment. Start by extending the time between meals, perhaps a 16-hour fast a few days a week, or skipping breakfast when you're not genuinely hungry, because your body now runs primarily on fat and ketones. Fasting feels natural, not forced. Over time, you can experiment with longer fasts, 24 or 36 hours, when recovery, stress, and sleep are in balance. These strategic fasting windows help maintain insulin sensitivity and keep your metabolism sharp. Tracking progress is another essential piece of long-term success, but it's important to focus on metrics that reflect metabolic health, not just weight. The scale can fluctuate from water and glycogen changes, so it's more valuable to track body composition, waist measurements, and energy levels. You can also monitor fasting glucose and insulin sensitivity with periodic blood work. Improvements in sleep quality, mood stability, and exercise recovery are also key indicators that your metabolic system is thriving. The goal is to create a lifestyle where fat loss is maintained because your metabolism is efficient, not because you're constantly restricting. Nutrient adequacy plays a major role in sustaining health on a carnivore-based plan. Animal foods provide nearly everything your body needs, but variety ensures optimal balance. Rotate between different protein sources: beef, lamb, pork, poultry, and seafood to cover your bases for amino acids and minerals. Include eggs regularly for choline and fat-soluble vitamins. Adding organ meats once or twice per week continues to support nutrient density, especially for vitamins A, B12, D, and iron. If you find your energy dipping or recovery slowing, assess your electrolytes. Sodium, potassium, and magnesium requirements can shift with activity level and fasting frequency, so staying aware of hydration and mineral intake is vital. Over the long term, maintaining metabolic health also means preventing stagnation. Once you've achieved your desired weight, your caloric needs may adjust. Instead of lowering food intake further, focus on maintaining muscle mass through strength training and adequate protein. Muscle tissue is your best defense against metabolic slowdown. It increases insulin sensitivity and raises your resting energy expenditure. Regular resistance training keeps your metabolism resilient, your joints stable, and your body composition optimal. Sustainability also involves understanding when flexibility is appropriate. After months of strict carnivore eating, some people may choose to test their metabolic flexibility by introducing small amounts of low-toxin foods such as avocado, berries, or honey. The goal isn't to reintroduce cravings, it's to evaluate how your body responds. If energy remains stable and digestion stays smooth, you've built resilience. If symptoms return, fatigue, bloating, or hunger spikes, that's your signal to return to the simplicity of carnivore. The body's feedback is the ultimate guide. Psychological sustainability is just as important as physical. Long-term success doesn't mean restriction forever. It means alignment with what makes you feel best. Many who adopt the carnivore lifestyle find the mental clarity, calm digestion, and stable energy so powerful that returning to processed foods no longer feels tempting. Over time, this way of eating stops feeling like a diet and becomes a default state of health, simple, predictable, and deeply satisfying. Longevity is built on this metabolic stability. When insulin stays low, inflammation minimal, and nutrient intake optimal, the aging process slows at the cellular level, mitochondria remain efficient, oxidative stress is reduced, and hormones maintain their youthful balance. You're not just extending lifespan, you're extending health span by continuing to eat nutrient-dense animal foods, staying active, and strategically using fasting. You're protecting the systems that keep you lean and vibrant for life. The ultimate goal of the carnivore approach isn't just to get lean, it's to stay metabolically flexible, hormonally balanced, and inflammation-free long term. By mastering fasting, monitoring progress intelligently, and maintaining nutrient balance, you build a foundation of resilience that lasts decades. Your metabolism no longer fears food, it thrives on it. That's when fat loss evolves into something greater, a state of lasting, doctor-approved metabolic health that supports strength, energy, and longevity for life.